What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have our first off-season. I'm excited to get this underway. You can see here that we are in preseason week 1, and there's a funny reason why. I made a mistake with my recording last time. I recorded in a format that's not supported by many, and it was not supported by my video editor program, and I lost half of it. I saved the draft portion, so we'll have that, but I unfortunately just destroyed half the video. On top of that, it's been a really busy couple of weeks for me, and I have been completely neglecting this franchise, and I am not going to get into that rhythm. I'm going to be better with recording on a regular basis, so I'm probably going to get a couple of videos out today alone to try and catch things up with the series. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the guys that we re-signed. Was not too many. There was a lot of the guys that I just let go. Some of them didn't want to re-sign with me. And, you know, it is what it is. It happens. Most of them weren't really players that I was looking to bring back just because of either age or what their overall was. So I'm not really too upset. There was a couple of players I was hoping to have back, but I did secure a few of them. And we did make some pretty good free agency signings. So we're going to go over those first. Once we get through with that, I'll roll the footage for the draft, and then we'll be all good to go. So without further ado, let's take a look and see who we re-signed this first offseason. So after Mackenzie Alexander told me no 4 or 5 times, the funny thing is, Alexander told me no, and he was asking for all sorts of money. 3-year contract, I think it was $16 million. And I was like, I don't want to pay him that. I tried lowballing a little bit, not drastically, but below what he was asking, and he said no. Come to find out, after I saw the free agency, he ended up signing with a team for a 1-year, $3 million deal. So I don't know if he just had a problem with me or what, but he decided he was done with Minnesota. So because of that, I ended up re-signing Bashaud Breeland for some depth. We will be rolling with Cam Dantzler as one of our starters this year, which I'm fine with. I do want to make sure he develops. But Bashaud Breeland will end up being probably our nickel corner. And so Mackenzie Alexander left. I did not bring back Patrick Peterson either, just because of age, and his overall dropped to a 71. My second re-signing was Mason Cole, our backup center. I thought he was a really good option for a fill-in, and he's only 26. So I did not want to lose that, especially with how empty the pool is usually for linemen, especially during free agency. It just never seems to be that fruitful. I decided to bring him back. We re-signed him to, I think it was a 2-year deal. Let's take a look. Can't even remember. Yep, 2-year deal. So he's here for 2 more years. Probably won't ever start for us, but a solid fill-in guy in case something happens to Bradbury or maybe even one of our guards. Last but definitely not least, we got Anthony Barr back. I was on the fence about bringing him back because he was hitting 30. And he was asking for a lot too. He was asking for a multi-year contract, and I really didn't feel comfortable doing it. But as you can see here, he somehow earned superstar dev throughout our first sim, and I did not want to let that go. Plus, he's a longtime Viking, and me being a Vikings fan, I guess I have a soft spot for him. Let's see what his contract is. And now he only wanted 2 years. Now, the players that I did not bring back. I did not bring back Amir Abdullah at running back. I got rid of Olabisi Johnson. I also got rid of Everson Griffin, and we did not bring back Sheldon Richardson. Most of that was just due to what they were asking, their spots on the team, and their age. So most of those guys are gone. Griffin took a huge hit. He was an 80 overall for us last year. He dropped to a 73. And if we're going to have a 73 running around, I'd rather have a young guy. So we'll probably focus on that in the draft. Try to find somebody to fill those spots. Secondary is something we're going to have to look at too, but that is an area that we did hit on in free agency, and I'll do a quick recap of the free agents that we signed now as well. One of our first signings from the free agency period was right guard Laken Tomlinson. There was a couple of higher overall guys available, but they were asking for so much money, and we were really tight strapped for cash this year. We have too many big contracts still. You know, the Cousins contract, Brian O'Neill's contract, Daniil Hunter's contract, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen. There's a lot of bigger contracts that we still have on this team. So I couldn't go after all the all-stars. I couldn't go after the 85s. But Laken Tomlinson, I think, is going to be a great fit for us. He fits our mold. And he actually fits any mold. You can see here a 79, 79, and a 78. So he can really do anything we need him to do, no matter the scheme we go with. And that's something I'm still going to look into. We might end up changing the playbook away from the Vikings book. But Tomlinson was a key piece to our free agency. I think he's going to make a huge upgrade for our line and definitely help us protect Cousins and hopefully get our running game to continue to flourish in our second season. Not as flashy of a signing, but another solid fill-in player was Jaron Christian Sr. He'll be our backup left tackle for Christian Darrisaw, who I think is going to be our future left tackle. I did some work on him. He's gotten a little bit better in his pass blocking, and we needed a guy to back him up, and I found Christian Sr. here, who's only 25, a 69 overall. Plus, he might not be the best at pass protection, but right now we have been running a zone type of book, and he's going to fit that mold. Definitely like this signing. Not the flashiest, but definitely needed and something that I was happy to be able to do. And now look at this signing. Mike Hughes, former Viking, former Chief, was in the free agency market. How could I not bring him back? I liked Hughes when he was here. It was sad to see him go. I know he had his issues with his injuries and other things, but he was a good, solid guy. I think he just needed some time, and he went and had some time. Look at this. He's a superstar dev now. 80 overall, 25 years old. He was just sitting there, man. And after losing Mackenzie Alexander, I said, we got to bring in somebody else. We can't go into the season with Bashaud Breeland and Dantzler as our only players. And I wasn't sure if we would be able to get somebody in the draft or not, so I went ahead and made the call and bring back Mike Hughes, and this is also why you see Bashaud Breeland wearing number 24. Mike Hughes' number was 21 with us. I got to give it back to him. So that's what I did. So we got Mike Hughes now, and he's going to pair up with Dantzler on the outside, and Breeland will play the slot. So overall, I think we do have a decent roster here for our corners. So that's pretty much the entirety of the offseason. We had a few guys we re-signed in Anthony Barr, Bashaud Breeland, and Mason Cole, and also a handful of free agents that I brought in. I almost forgot to mention that we did replace Greg Joseph. I brought in Joey Sly. He's sort of my go-to when I do franchises. I don't know about you guys, but he's younger. He's got 99 kick power. His accuracy isn't the greatest, but you can't go wrong with 99 kick power. So we bring in him. And I also brought in AJ Cole, who's a star punter, 81 overall, 26 years old. Again, really good kick power, pretty good accuracy. And that was to replace Jordan Berry. So overall, our offseason was pretty quiet, I guess I could say. Not a whole lot of big names coming or going. We did change up the roster quite a bit, which what you'll see after we finish the draft and I show you guys the roster we're going into season 2 with. But I think it was a decent one to start. The Vikings were a little salary cap strapped, and we are currently. I'll show you that after the draft as well. We need to move some people, and I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we'll find a way. Luckily, we were able to secure a few free agents to keep us competitive. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert the part of the video that I didn't lose throughout editing, and you'll get to see who we drafted. One thing I do need to mention, though, is I had to make an adjustment to my coach profiles. This was a big talking point in the video I did that I lost, because I didn't want it to be unfair or too easy for me to make moves. And what I mean by that is if I have a coach profile on every single team, I can pretty much just do whatever I want. I can trade for who I want. I can put any trade through. And I did not want it to become a thing where the Vikings were just getting all of this stuff. And I didn't want guys to think I would do that. So I ended up removing my coach profile from all the teams. And I did keep them on one team for the draft. And it was just for the first pick. And that was the Jaguars, because they had him pegged to take another quarterback through the mock draft. And I was too scared that it was going to happen. And I did not want our franchise starting off with a first-round pick being buried behind a first-round pick, which I just hate that Madden does that. So I made the call to leave my one profile in the Jaguars for the first pick of the draft, took somebody different, and after that, though, it's just my profile. So I'm going to have to find a way to do the things that I still want to do to keep things interesting in our series here, but it was a reasonable thing to do. I didn't think that through when I thought about it in the beginning, which is my fault. I'm still learning how to do all this stuff, and I just wasn't thinking straight, I guess. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and we'll roll into the video that I didn't lose, and we'll see this draft class. Okay, so I got us to the last stage here. I want to see if we got anything on those players that I did the focus on. Okay, so Rashard Cage is now 80%. So I don't know. I really don't know what to do about this, but Madden needs to fix this. All of the updates that they've been doing, right? And they have not fixed the fact that your scouting, like your focus players, they only work for like one of them. I had the same thing happen with what was that? There was a person that we did at the beginning of the season that I did. I'm trying to find who it was. Was it a tight end? I can't find who it was. But none of them are working. So the only one out of the three focus players that worked was Rashard Cage, which is good because I did want to know a lot more about him. So let's see what we found out. Okay, so he ended up with elite speed. I remember this now. Excellent player prospect. B recognition, B power move, A zone coverage, B man coverage. This guy is good. We're taking him. We are definitely taking him. I think we're going to stay hold at 18. I think that's the plan. I think let's stay at 18. I would love to get a receiver. I don't know if I want. It sucks because I spent most of my scouting on receivers, but now finding out about these linebackers, I think it's a bigger need. Daniel Durham was a guy that had a story. Let me pull that up here. His story was he did not do a combine, so we don't really know what his situation is, but the thing is, he did a pro day, so we somewhat know what he's doing. He didn't grade out really well. And also, we have a few of his, and he can't run routes, man. Medium route is an F, deep route is an F. I'm assuming his short route maybe a D, maybe a C. But he's definitely nothing to write home about. C, catching traffic. The only decent thing is his release, which is a B. So I don't know if I want to take a look at this guy, even though he did have a story and I need a bigger bodied receiver, especially rounds 1 to 2. It's going to be really interesting to go back and look at these guys after the fact to see how wrong I was on some of them. I'm hoping I'm not too wrong, but I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong. I'm still learning this new scouting system. So I really don't know what to do with the wide receiver position. I really don't. I'd love to take one, but I don't know if I want to pass up. I was hoping to learn more about Martin Jefferson, but now we really don't know much about him because of how messed up this whole thing is. I feel like his zone is going to be worse than his man, but I do think that he's going to end up being more of an edge rusher, and he's got that really good story for him. So I really don't know. I say we're just going to wing it. I don't think I want to give up enough to move up to 11 where the Falcons are to take McCoy, even though McCoy is probably the best receiver target. But I mean, we got Barr. Do we go ahead and do we make a play for Emmett McCoy? Do we allow us to miss out on Jefferson? And do we take these two guys? Antoine Whitehead and Rashard Cage. We know Rashard Cage is going to be pretty good. I don't know how good. He could end up being a 68. But he's got a lot of the tools that I'm looking for in a linebacker. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. Carlos German is a guy I was looking at way early on because he was 6'3", and I love a 6'3" corner. He ended up with good speed, elite acceleration, but we don't know anything about what he can do as a corner. We know his press is a D, which is really bad. Is he going to end up being, bad? Did he have a story? Let me look. I don't see. Oh, yeah. Carlos German was dismissed from the school. He was dismissed from the school. I think it was because of academics or something. The thing is, Emmett McCoy, out of the two guys we're really looking at in the first round, Emmett McCoy and Martin Jefferson. Jefferson has the positive story. All the coaches raved about him at All-Star Week, which is a big deal, I think. And I just don't know if I want to give up enough. I'd rather fill in some extra mid-round picks, to be honest. Like, can I trade Olabisi Johnson for just like a third? Straight up. My feelings on him were much higher than they should have been. We got a 7th. That's all we got. We got a 7th. At least it was a high 7th, right? So that's it. And that's sort of where we're going to be this year, I guess. We don't have a lot of wiggle room with our team and with our cap. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have to do. We're just going to have to roll with what we got. See who falls to us. Hopefully Jefferson is there. I highly doubt McCoy's going to be there, but I hope Jefferson is at least there. Here we go.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Okay, so we paused the draft. Let's go over and pick somebody for the Jaguars because we know that it's just not cool with what they were going to do. We know they do not need a quarterback, okay? I think actually, you know what, man? I think I'm going to stop. I think I'm going to take Devontae Baker. The Bengals did the same thing. They're like, no, you don't need a receiver. You don't need him. You have receivers already. But they did anyway, and look at what it's done for the Bengals. Yeah, we're going to take Devontae Baker for him. He's supposed to be the best wide receiver out of the draft. He's got solid skills. So yeah, we're going to take Devontae Baker.
All right, the Dolphins are now
Hidden Dev. Good job for them. 94 acceleration, 93. Okay, that's a good receiver. That is a good receiver. I like that. Okay, let's get back over. And we're going to retire now. I only wanted to be on them for this pick. That was it. So we can retire this player now and just go back to being the Vikings. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to the drawing board here. We're not moving up. We're staying at pick 18.
Okay, here we go.
Zachary Fargo. See, this is something I'm okay with. Tua has not been the best quarterback, especially in our series. We'll take a look at the draft afterwards. Jalen Sheffield to the Raiders. Devontae Ford to the Giants. I like that pick. Josh Franklin to the Steelers to take over for Big Ben. I like that. That's a solid move there.
All right, it's the Eagles.
Cormier to the Lions have themselves a line now. After going to get Sewell, I think it was. And now they get Cormier, who I almost took for the Jaguars. I'm going to be interested to see how these guys grade out after the fact.
On the clock now, it's the
Will Osgood to the Eagles. They needed a left tackle, I think. Go look.
The Browns are now
Darrell
on the
Pitts.
clock.
That's a little of a bit of a head scratcher to me because they have a lot of receivers. They have Keenan Allen, and they have Mike Williams. I think there's a third guy that I'm forgetting that they have. But I mean, Justin Herbert is the future, so get him, playmakers, I guess.
The football team now on
DeAndre
the
Gillisley,
clock.
the first right end off the board.
On the clock now.
There goes
it's
Eric
the
Kendricks.
Browns.
See, we were not getting up to the top 10 for a guy like that.
Now the Broncos.
Ooh, and the Falcons don't go Emmett McCoy. Warren Yarbrough. Okay, so I'm a liar. Maybe I just reconfigured everything, but I swear, man, those mock drafts were like dead on for what was going to go where.
All right, now on the clock.
Zeke Cooper.
The Texans. The Jets.
Will
now
Hyde.
On the clock. Now on the clock. And the Panthers.
Oh,
on
and
the
there goes
clock
Emmett
now.
McCoy.
Let's see what direction they go.
Oh, well.
The Saints are on the clock.
Jaden Wheaton, we knew he was going to go. We have 2 more picks.
Now the Packers
at Grant.
Who do they have their eye on?
And Justin Stewart. Okay. So just to because I want to do it, let's see what's available for trade down. Let's see what is available for trade down. So nothing this year. We would need to move down like 2 picks to even consider a trade. I'm not moving that far back. But there's nothing. The closest is the Eagles, but that's all the way back to the 25th, and I'm not falling that far back. So no trade downs for us. I think we just go ahead and we take Martin Jefferson, the guy we wanted to take, the guy I've been talking about nonstop. We'll take a look just to see who's there. But most of these guys, yeah, right here, Martin Jefferson. I think he's got to be the one. Martin Jefferson, with our first draft pick of this series, becomes a Minnesota Viking. Let's see.
The Patriots on the clock.
Oh, he's normal. He's normal. Man, but he's got good speed. 86 speed, 89 acceleration. I really hope that he's got some pass rush in him. I'm hoping because of the impact block B he does. We'll see. Normal dev, I was really hoping for a hidden dev, but hey, you win some, you lose some, right? Okay,
here we go.
Ethan Merritt went right next. So this is going to be interesting to see how Merritt graded out. How did the Packers get another first-round pick? Oh, they did have 2 firsts, didn't they?
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Oh, I just simmed, didn't I? I simmed. Oh, I hit next user pick, and it jumped us. Oh man, I can't believe I did that. I haven't done that in so long. Okay, so we drafted Antoine Whitehead, which is who I wanted anyway. But I didn't know if I was going to take him for sure or not. But we took him. Yeah, we took him. Oh my gosh. What a boneheaded move that was. All right, well, we took the guys we wanted. Man, I can't believe I just did that. We're just going to skip to the next user pick.
Now on the clock, it's the Vikings.
I was wondering how the Packers got that pick so quickly. That's hilarious. All right. I'm just thankful that I put him on my favorites list. Otherwise, we would have taken some bullcrap. Okay. Is there anybody here left for us to take at receiver in the 3rd round? I don't think there is. Guys, Rashard Cage is gone. I really thought he would be here until the 3rd round. And I could take both of him and Whitehead and rebuild our linebacker core in 1 year. And he's gone. He was drafted by somebody. That is unfortunate. But we do have Connor Fulton here, who was a guy we were looking at. I mean, granted, it was he said 3 to 4. I was really hoping he'd be here, but he was not. So that's our first L for sure. Well, second L, because I decided to sim the draft like an idiot. So who are we left with? So we got 2 linebackers so far. There really isn't anybody here that seems to be that good. We have a couple of 2 to 3 guys left. David Dorsett, Peter Hillman, Sheldon McBride. But most of these guys shouldn't be taken yet. What about Hillhouse? What about... Oh, nope. Never mind. Deontay Whiting. No. Lloyd Cohn. No. Clyde Hurst. I don't think any of these guys are worth taking at receiver. Nope. Horrible catching. Why does every receiver have horrible catching? That's literally the point of their job. Every one of them. This one, you don't even know what they are. Decent speed. Get out of here. Get out of here. Clyde Hurst. Brian McClendon. CCF. This is crazy. The amount of stuff. There's like no good receivers. How am I supposed to take any of these guys? Do we try to take a day 3 guy like Anthony Osgood? Didn't he have? Ooh. Look at that. B catching B deep route. Did he have a story? This was the guy who had the history of the injuries. This could be the guy we take. Man, this is a tough call. I knew it was going to be tough once we got past a certain point, but... Oh, okay. Hold on, Derek Barnes. Great speed, poor acceleration again. But he's got A, catching traffic, B, short route, B, pass blocking. And he's a year younger. A, catching traffic. I really like that. Is Derek Barnes a better prospect than Anthony Osgood? Plus, he's got that extra height on him, too, which I like. Bryce Harris fell down the boards, too. He put on weight, I guess. But, my gosh, look at his speeds. What about his skills? Break tackle, short, deep route. Nothing about his catching, but... I mean, he's got a 4.6 40. He's second in tight ends. That's got to count for something. He's faster than Osgood. And he doesn't have the injury history. I think we should take Derek Barnes. This was a guy who also had a tremendous combine, I guess, because they were saying he might be the best right outside linebacker. What was his story? Let me look it up here quick. Incredible combine. Every team needs a player like him. Does that mean he's going to be something good? I don't even know if what's his name had hidden dev or not. Man, I really dropped the ball there. I think we're going to take Joseph Peterson again. We're just going to load up on linebackers. This seems to be a linebacker draft. And we need them. I think we do it. That'd be the third linebacker taken. I'm hoping one of them is a defensive end, though. I'm hoping Jefferson is a defensive end, but I don't know if he's going to be. I just don't know who else to take. I could take the tight end, but it says he's day 3. So I could potentially wait until the next round to take him, take Peterson this one, and then take the tight end the next one. Screw it.
All right, next up, the Patriots.
He's normal.
Patriots are on the clock.
We're just going to roll with it. We'll see what happens once we get to the offseason. Or to the draft recap. And now let's sim to our next pick. Derek Barnes is still there. Is there any running backs we want to take a look at? There's a few guys we could look at. Not many left, though. We don't really need one anyway. Wide receivers. Plenty of wide receivers left. Yeah, we'll take one after Derek Barnes here, because I think that's a bigger need for us right now. Let's take Derek Barnes. Oh, we got a hidden dev.
It's the Patriots.
There we go. We get a hidden dev. It's at tight end, but hey, we got one. I like it. And now our next pick is until the 6th round, so this first year isn't going to be that exciting. See, a lot of these guys are still available that shouldn't be. Cameron Underwood. Jason Stapleton. Taj Whitworth. Why do I feel like I saw that name before? I didn't see many D tackles having stories. No, he didn't have one. Just trying to see if there's anybody left that might have had a story at some point. Who is this Darren Witherspoon? Catching is D. Release is D. Come on, guys. Madden, the receivers are supposed to be able to catch the ball. I get them having bad route running and maybe difficulty with awareness, but making all the receivers with D catching, like unless this is just like some bug and D actually means like 75, which would be really weird, but something I definitely wouldn't put past Madden. All right, so we really don't have many guys left here. Do we even want to take somebody? Matt Greer is left. Catching traffic is a B. Not bad on 40 time. B catching traffic. A spectacular catch. I think we might take Matt Greer here just for that extra body. 6'3", 230. It's not a bad size. We'll take a flyer on Matt Greer.
Okay, it's the Patriots on the clock now.
90 speed and 88 acceleration. That's not bad at all. Out of Delaware. I don't see too many Delaware. This is where we start looking for undrafted guys. Are there any potential undrafted free agents that could be something special? Maybe a corner or something. LaMarcus Joseph. 6'2", 207. We know nothing about him, but he's slow. Benjamin Cook, 6'2". I want a bigger body guy at there too. Zone is an F. Okay, sorry guy, you're not coming. I don't think we're going to be landing anybody decent there. We took a lot of linebackers, so at least we can say that we should be set at linebacker. Trent Session, Jason Stapleton, Montel Strickland. Do we want to take any of these undrafted running backs? Tevin Taylor, Jamal White. I just want to see do any of these guys have anything decent at all? What about strength? See, strength is great. Okay, that's good. Not bad 40 time, really, for a power back. Montel Strickland has B ball carrier vision. Oh, man. Oh, we're taking him. I don't care. Taking Montel Strickland. I don't even know what he is, but he's the second fastest running back, and he's a power back. Taking him. Done. Don't even care. He's going to be a 62. Watch this.
The Jaguars.
Well, we don't know yet,
Let's
but
see what direction they go.
We got our fourth running back. We'll see what he does. And let's get to our last pick here. Forrest Taylor, I'm surprised, is still available. But what about a receiver? Let's see. Is there anybody else that we could take that might... Patrick Smith. Here's another big body guy. D catching. You're horrible. Denzel Boatwright. C catching. Not the worst. Slow. We're just going to trade this pick away. I was taking a look through everything. I don't see anybody worth taking. I have no clue who any of these guys are. We'll just take a pick next year. Here.
We've got some action here, folks. They traded this pick. We'll have the details.
Okay. Now, it's time to see how bad these picks ended up being. Here we go. Draft recap time. Let's see how bad we ended up doing. Okay. Wow, so we really hit on those two linebackers. We missed on Peterson bad. But we hit on Jefferson. Let's see what and he's a speed rusher. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. We found a guy that we can move down to the line. Let's go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, let's go ahead and let's move him down to the right end position right away and see what we got there. There he is. We're going to change his number. We'll give him number 90. Definitely got to change his face because he looks weird. That head is way too small for his body. There, that's better. Wow. Okay, what do we got for an overall? 73 overall. I like it. I'll take that. Was it a win? Not fully. We probably could have gotten the better guys, but look at Antoine Whitehead here. Antoine Whitehead ends up being a 74. Still normal dev, but ended up 91 speed, 91 acceleration. I need to see what Rashard Cage was. Joseph Peterson ended up being absolutely nothing. We'll probably release him. Derek Barnes ended up being a 72. That's awesome. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted in a day 3 tight end, was somebody that could come in and compete with Conklin and hopefully grow into something great. Greer ended up being a 68, which again is not bad, and Strickland a 65. So honestly, we really didn't do too bad. I like the draft. Is it the flashiest of drafts? No, but it fills a bunch of positions that we really did need. And now let's go and see what the rest of the drafts look like. First day, round 1. So we drafted a 77 overall wide receiver to the Jaguars, who we know as hidden dev. I think that was a perfect move for them. Fits in well. Him and Devontae are going to kill. The Dolphins get a Zach Farr, who's a 79 hidden dev. Oh, wow. That's an awesome pick. I can see why the Jaguars were going to take him. I just couldn't let them do that because it's just not realistic with Trevor Lawrence there. Jalen Sheffield ends up being an 80 overall. 80 overall corner. Right out of the gate. There's some special players in this draft. Devontae Ford ended up being a 77. We could have gone Joseph Franklin. This was one that we were actually looking at. He ended up being normal, which I mean isn't bad, but if you're picking that high, you'd probably find a guy with Dev. Good throw power. Cormier. This was a guy we almost took number 1 overall for the the Jaguars. I mean, he's a 72, so it's not bad, but he's definitely ain't no 77 wide receiver. He does have hidden Dev. Will Osgood. Daryl Pitts. This was the guy that I wanted when I first saw the draft class, but then I didn't want him after the fact. I think it was his speed, even though his speed's pretty good, 90. It's not bad. DeAndre Gillisley. So really, we ended up getting the same overall we would have at any other defensive end by taking Martin Jefferson. Gillisley ended up having hidden, though. Did Hendricks too? No, Hendricks had normal. Yarbrough was a good corner. Zeke Cooper, 76. And hidden Dev. Wow. There was some solid receivers up top, but just way too above us. 74 for Emmett McCoy. He ended up being normal, or hidden. Another solid pick for them. Dang. Pat Grant. Here's our pick. Who could we have had? Carlos German. This was the guy that fell. He wasn't supposed to be good at all. And he was good. Willie Atkinson. That was another receiver that fell. He was a 72 normal. Adrian Bean. Hidden Dev, 73. That's a nice pick for the Giants. Kenny Lewis. I didn't even know who Kenny Lewis was. He's a 73. I got to pay attention more. Sean Hayden. Nate Hillman. That doesn't surprise me. Glenn Pierce. I want to see where Cage went. How far off are we from getting him? Right here. He was a 74. Okay, normal, but still 74 overall. 6'1", 239. He was exactly what we wanted. Almost the same setup, really, as Whitehead. So I guess they were both pretty much the same player. This is the guy we almost took instead of Barnes. And, I mean, he's not the worst tight end, but definitely not Derek Barnes. I'm really happy with that pick. So all in all, we had a pretty decent draft. Nothing too crazy, but definitely helped us out. I think it was a pretty decent first offseason. I would wish we would have had more picks. And I also wish we would have had a little bit more variety in choosing. But now that we got the linebackers out of the way, I think we can really hone in on some of those other positions like quarterback and corner moving forward in the next draft. I think the next video we're going to do all of the preseason. I don't know. I'll probably show one game at least, go over stats so we can see who was performing well and who wasn't. I'll also go through while I'm not, recording, and I will redo some guys' numbers and make sure guys have their own looks, because a lot of the Madden AutoGen guys look the same for all the teams, not just, my team, but we'll do probably the first round, and if there's some key second, third round guys, we'll change up their looks to make sure they have their own look to some degree, and it's a solid number. Okay, now that we did the draft portion, I know it didn't really transition the greatest, but that's because, like I said, I had to interject this video in between my new recording to make sure that this all made sense at the end. So now that we saw the draft, you guys know what we ended up with. I want to show you the roster and how I have it set up at this point for us in our first game. I was really happy with how the draft played out. I obviously missed on a couple of players. Like I said, I'm still learning the new system. It's going to take me some time, but I do like that it was a lot more difficult for me to find the players I wanted, because that's going to tell me that I can't just make up a great draft every single year and have a Super Bowl contender within the first, 2 seasons of the series. So first, quarterbacks didn't change. Running backs, we brought in Montel Strickland. I doubt he's going to end up sticking on the roster. He might, just because I like to keep 4 guys. But I'm not too, set on him having to stay here. We do bring in Matt Greer, who I thought was a solid addition where we got him. I didn't even know who he was, to be quite honest with you guys. But he ends up being a pretty solid prospect for us, and we'll see. Maybe he can flourish a little bit. He's got some decent stats to start out. We expected the route running to not be the greatest. A lot of these guys come in and they don't have the greatest route running, but he does have 86 spectacular catch, which I really liked. Plus the 90 speed is nice, 90 change of direction. I'm excited to see if he can flourish a little bit. I don't expect him to outplay KJ Osborne as the number 3, but we'll see what happens. Derek Barnes, man, one of my favorite finds of the draft. Hidden dev tight end, exactly what I was looking for. 6'6", 258 pounds. I'm excited for him. I think this is going to be a solid player for us, and I think he's really going to flourish. And honestly, he might end up being our starter one day. He's got that hidden dev. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to find out until it's shown, but I have a good feeling about Barnes. And here it is, our first round pick. You guys saw that, Martin Jefferson was an outside linebacker. I moved him to right end right away. He is going to be our starter, 73 overall, who steps right into that role with where Everson Griffin would have been if we would have kept him. I said he dropped to a 73, so now we just have a guy we can build off of. I do still wish that he had higher than normal dev, but you don't always get what you want, and it's okay. Martin Jefferson will be our starting right end. Antoine Whitehead, man, I was so happy to be able to land him. I was upset I didn't get Cage, but we got one of them. We got Whitehead. So he is going to automatically be our starting linebacker on the outside, and I really want him to be able to become one of our top backers here in a season or two. Look at that speed and acceleration, man. I am so excited to see this guy play. 91 speed, 91 acceleration. He can't rush the passer to save his life, but that's okay. I don't want him to do that. We just need to work on his zone coverage a little bit and his run stopping a little bit, but you can't beat those physical attributes right out of the gate with the speed. You just can't. 91 speed at linebacker. That's going to be awesome. Joseph Peterson, he ended up not being as good as I thought he was. I just sort of randomly grabbed him. Again, still learning. But he'll be a solid backup for us, I think. I don't think he's ever going to be a speed rusher, and we'll have to work on some of his attributes. But it is what it is. We took a shot, and it just didn't work. It happens. And that's pretty much it, guys. The roster is pretty much the same as it was last year. You see our safeties are both all the same. Our corners, aside from Mike Hughes, all the same. Linebacker was where there was the biggest shakeup. We do still have Chaz Surratt, and we do have Troy Dye backing up Kendricks and Barr. These are all the same. Still got DJ Wanham. And, of course, Patrick Jones. I don't even know what happened to Kenny Willix. Did he get signed or something by another team, or did I cut him? I can't remember. Line is pretty much what it's going to be. I would like to have another lineman, but I don't think we're going to be able to afford it. I'd also like another receiver, but again, I don't think we can afford it. I'll show you why. We're negative $4.4 million. I said we were in some cap problems, and granted, this part is my fault because in the past, the rookie reserve would sort of come out of your available cap room. It would tell you, like, hey, you don't have this room. It didn't do that this year, so I had no clue. That's going to be difficult to work around. But basically, we're going to have to just keep this team. And the only way I could really see us feasibly, clearing that space up this year is cutting Kirk Cousins, but that's just not going to happen. That just wouldn't make any sense. He's our starting quarterback. So we're just going to have to roll through the season with who we have. And hopefully, at the end of it all, Kirk Cousins' contract falls off and we get some cap relief and we can really start rebuilding this team. But this year is going to be another not as exciting year. But it's okay. Not every year has to be exciting. But that's pretty much the whole gist of the offseason. Again, my apologies for making such a horrible mistake when it came to editing, but we have it fixed now. This video should be enough to get us into the next season. So I'm going to leave it out at here. I'll see you guys next time where we can finally play our first game. Thanks for watching.